Fantastic.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for hopping on. I'm super excited about this success testimony with Javier Alejandro out of North Carolina. And if you don't know our story, I'll tell you really quickly. My name is Melanie Levitz. I come from North Miami Beach, Florida. I served in the Air Force active duty. And little did I know, a home-based business in the #1 industry in the world, a travel club called Dream Trips, would dramatically impact my life. And it's been such a blessing to be able to share this idea with people all around the world and impacting others' lives through the same concept as it has been so impactful in mine. And today we get to share with a special guest, not only a great business partner, but also a dear friend and personal brother to me. And because of this, by sharing it with somebody who shared it with somebody who shared it with somebody, Javier Alejandro got to see it. And I was actually blessed, Javier, what was it, like 5 years ago, to be able to stand in front in the living room, right, with your friend and share this concept. So tell us a little bit, bring us back to 5 years ago. And first, before we get there, tell us a little bit about your background. I know you're from Puerto Rico, you have an amazing family, you know, and you joined the Army. So tell us a little bit more about that.
All right, cool. What's up, guys? Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here with you guys, enjoying this beautiful day and getting to share my story with you guys. I'm sure that something that I'll say today will impact the life of at least one person. So pay attention, because I got some pretty cool things to share with you guys. So a little bit about me. I was born in Hartford, Connecticut, and by the age of 16 or so, I moved to Puerto Rico. So I'm Puerto Rico bred, I'm Puerto Rico born, I'm forged in the fires of the island, and joined the Army when I was 18 years. I did 20 years of service, United States Army Special Forces. I've traveled the world, you know, by way of, you know, deployments. I have 18 deployments. I have over 60 months of combat time. My eyes have seen things that most men will never be able to see. And I just thank God that he allowed me the opportunity to survive through all of that, because I really believe that there's a purpose for my life that's so much bigger than what I can even imagine. And so I really believe it's by way, excuse me, it's by way of what we're doing now with World Ventures.
Absolutely. And you know, you briefly touched on what you do. We just want the world to know that you're a bad beep, mother beep. So, you know, you didn't just serve in the Army, but you were at the elite Special Forces command and working with, you know, the top, and you were the top. You know, so thank you so much for your service and serving over 20 years. We truly appreciate everything that you have sacrificed, not only for yourself, but for your family and, you know, the friends that you have lost along the way. So we truly want to make sure that that is recognized for you. And back 5 years ago, you know, we happened to meet in a living room. And take us back to that day. What was going on in your head? What did you see? What happened?
So my testimony is something I haven't shared with a lot of people, and I will with you all. If I could just be raw with you. And excuse my voice, I'm actually getting over a cold. So 5 years ago, Melanie Levitz was in the living room of one of our friends, Arnold, and you know, she was out there. She presented this beautiful concept to us. But backtrack about 2.5 weeks from that, I had been praying. I'm a believer, and I've been praying for something. I just didn't know what it was. I knew there was something out there that I could do that could augment what I was doing in the military. Like Melanie said, I'm a retired Chief Warrant Officer 3. I'm a field grade officer to the world's most elite soldiers in the Special Forces units. We travel the world, and we've done really bad things to really bad people. It's kind of what our job motto was. So I knew that my 20 years of service was going to come quick, and that I needed to build something. I just didn't know what it was. And so when I'm sitting in this living room and listening to Melanie Levitz as a director in World Ventures talk to me about World Ventures, my mind went back to that moment where I felt I was having that prayer, and it was like an answered prayer for me. I felt in my heart that it was the thing I was looking for. Didn't even know it existed, truly. And so that's kind of how that started 5 years ago. I knew that this could be a way. I just didn't know how. I've never done anything like it. I wasn't sure if I could. I just knew that I trusted the guy who invited me there, Arnold, and I trusted Melanie, and I said, sure, let's go for it. And I was going through a really tough time in my life financially, going through a divorce. There were some really hard things that I was going through. And I was looking for something very, very anxiously to help me kind of come out of my dark place. And this is what God put in my path.
Wow. So when you said that you were praying a few weeks prior, was it something in particular? What was it that you were praying?
My prayer went something along the lines of, I need something. I need something that will allow me the opportunity to continue to be a detachment commander for Special Forces units, continue to be active duty, deploy, jump out of planes, shoot bad guys, do things like that. No pun intended. Without it taking me away from that, so that I could do something on the side that was still significant enough where it was worth it. And lo and behold, there you came and showed me features.
And I didn't realize at the time when you saw this, you said I was a director. For those that are watching, don't know what that means. That means over 180 people have joined our team. And you're making an average income of, the income disclosure states, I believe, $27,000 extra a year. So it was a nice little paycheck coming in, part-time. And when you saw it, you had said you were praying for something. So when you saw it, was it that you jumped in right away? Where were you once you saw this?
So I was in a tough position financially, and I have to admit, I had a $400 car payment. So back in the day, guys, when I got started, when Melanie showed me this for the first time, I remember it was $365 to get started as a gold member. And it was like over $500 to get started as a platinum member. And so what I did is I postponed my car payment, and I got started with World Ventures. And obviously, well, the company pays for my car today, so that's kind of that story, right? So I made a small sacrifice of not paying my car. I got started with that money, and today, life is totally different. Now I have a paid-for car. I don't have to worry about that car payment anymore, and that's how it kind of flipped for me. I got some more of that coming.
Yeah. With speaking about that, you say you're driving around a nice Mercedes paid for by the company, taking some amazing trips, been able to spend some more time with family. So obviously you've been able to achieve more of the freedom, the reason why you joined, the finance, the time, the experience, the memories, of course, the relationships. Tell us a little bit about the difference between now, the way your team is growing today versus when it was, let's say, even a year ago, a year from today. What's the difference that has taken place?
There's a very significant milestone that I think I had to cross. Being in the company for about 4.5 years or so, last October, that's when I retired out of the United States Army. And you'll hear it, for those of you guys who've been around World Ventures for a while, you'll hear it a lot from a lot of trainers, and Melanie trains it and I train it. You have to decide. There has to be a decision point that tips you over, which is what makes your desire a lot greater. So here's what I'm going to say. For a lot of you guys listening to this audio, either live or later, the recording, you're way too comfortable because you have a job and you have a paycheck. And while you have a job and a paycheck, getting paid every Friday or every 15th of the month, you're not going to push World Ventures hard enough. And so while I was active duty and I received the paycheck, I felt like in a comfort zone. It was a false comfort zone, because after retirement, all that means is you get paid 50% of what you can live off of when you were making the money. So it's a huge pay cut. And so there's a huge decision, a huge mindset shift that has to happen. And it's inevitable. It has to happen. Otherwise, you will not be able to build this the way you want to build this. And so that comfort zone is what changed for me, Melanie. A couple things happened that really shifted my life really hard. I had put about 100 people in the system. And when I did, we all know what happened. We encountered Hurricane Maria. And Hurricane Maria went and hit Puerto Rico. That's where my parents were at the time. And it completely devastated the island, and it completely destroyed my parents' home, which caused the roof to be torn off the house. I had to make a huge decision upon retirement to go to Puerto Rico and rebuild my parents' home. My dad is dying of cancer. He's very advanced in stage 4 cancer. It's only a matter of weeks before the doctors say he's gonna die. My mom will be a widow at the age of 65. This is October of 2018. My paycheck's not the same anymore. Something very drastic had to happen in my life, and I hope that that doesn't have to happen to you, and that with my advice, you can just essentially get up off your butt and go get it done, and don't stay in your comfort zone of a paycheck, because the more you rely on a paycheck, the more the system has you. And so while I was in Puerto Rico for 3 months rebuilding my mom's house, my team went from like 100 people of lineage to about 7.
Wow.
And so when I got back last year, November, December timeframe, believe me, I had a decision to make. Yeah. Because my dad's gonna die soon, and I want to be financially ready to be able to be there for my mom and take care of her so that she doesn't have any needs in life. And so that was my why, that was my push. And I just want to share that and be raw with you guys. You know, you don't have to wait for something catastrophic like that to happen to you and lose your entire team to have to rebuild it 0 left, 0 right all over again, because you didn't take it serious enough. And so since that happened, I've built my entire team back almost 2 times. My lineage is very close to the rank of director, which is coming soon. So I'm very excited about that. And that's how I think I can explain best what happened to me and what caused me to really take it so serious. And so this is my nugget for you guys. Act as if you don't have a paycheck. Act as if you don't have a job. Act as if you were to pay your bills just with World Ventures paycheck, would you have been able to pay something? Because we pay you based off your efforts. So if you and your team did what you did this week, how much money would you have made? Wow. I'll leave you with that.
Yeah, that's very powerful. You said a lot. You know, definitely it is a mind shift. And, you know, a lot of times when drug addicts, they go through their issues in life, and they're constantly living in, you know, time after time of being, you know, in debt and going after the next fix and going after the next fix. They hit what they call rock bottom. And it seems as though in your status, Javi, you hit that rock bottom where it was like, man, this is it. Like, I have to make this work. I have no other choice. And it was that mind shift that allowed you to realize the situation you were placed in life with the hurricane in Puerto Rico, with your mom being, you know, now a widow, your father passing away. It was like, you had nothing else. Obviously, you weren't going to go back and serve the military. It was like, this was it. And the mindset changed because you were placed in the situation. And I love the saying is God never gives you more than you can handle. And there's always, you know, a door open. It's just a matter of seeking and taking action. And wow, I'm shocked. You said you went from 100 people to 7 people. So you now have doubled that, where you're almost now a director. Congratulations, coming up. I know almost 200 people on your team. And you took action. And not only did you take action, your team is moving. What I love for you to just share with your team is, we know the mindset, we know the you hit rock bottom. What was the action that you were like, okay, now I got to actually move my feet. I got to pick up the phone. What steps did you take to be able to be where you are today, to be able to come close to now hitting director?
All right. So here's what I could share with you guys that I think in my example sums it up. I am already a leader. I grew up as an officer. I'm a field grade officer. I retired 20 years. Thank you to this concept, I was able to retire 7 years early, which is pretty significant. All right. And so that's the second part of my testimony, but to not take up a lot of your time, There has to be a mindset change. Hopefully it's nothing like what happened to me, where you have your dad die and pretty significant events happen in your life. But here is how that happened. While in Special Forces, I knew that the power of multiplication can only come by training people to do what you do. So in World Ventures, you have to clone yourself.
Yeah.
You literally have to clone yourself, okay? You have to create more leaders. So a couple of weeks ago, I finalized a book by Mr. John Maxwell called The 5 Levels of Leadership. I'm not going to get into the 5 levels of leadership, but what I am going to share with you guys is there's 5 steps of growth in a leader that creates other leaders. And so when you create other leaders, this is the infamous you becoming significant to your own paycheck step. And I want to share that with you because I made more money last week on vacation than actually here building with my team. And I want you guys to experience that. And so step number 1 is you doing it. I want you guys to actually, Eric Grisbowski, one of our multi-millionaires, multi-international marketing directors, the top rank of the company, says the following: the person with the clicker gets paid quicker.
Yeah.
Okay, so step number 1 is grab that clicker, start doing presentations, press play. There is no secret sauce on what works best. I just need you to step up and start presenting. Step number 1. Step 2 is do it with them. I want you to do this with your downline, with the person that you just enrolled. And I want you to look at every single person that you enroll as a very brand new franchise that you're building. Do not look at your new people as a new person because you're adding if you see them that way. If you see them as a new franchise, then you're multiplying, right? Each person that you sign up is essentially the CEO of a very brand new market. Everyone you know knows 100 people you don't know. So go through their list of people immediately. So do it yourself. Step 2 is do it with them. Step 3 is you do it and I am with you. I'm helping you. So you do it being your downline. The person you just enrolled, they've already seen you do the presentation. They've already seen the presentation numerous times. At this point, I want them to hold the clicker. And you can do this one of many ways. They can do the first half, the travel half, and then you do the business half until they feel a little bit more comfortable, and then they can just do the entire presentation on their own. Okay, now you've showed them to do what you do. Step number 4 is they do it all by themselves, and you're watching. And step number 5, guys, this is where it's at. This is where leaders highlight themselves apart from other leaders. Step number 5 is you do it and you show someone to do it and teach them to teach it forward. When your new person is showing their new people how to press play, how to create their PowerPoint presentation, how to invite, how to enroll, how to educate, how to repeat the steps, and you could just leave and you know that they have that market, you have become the ultimate leader in World Ventures. Because all you have to do is clone yourself into someone else, let them do what you do so that you can go build somewhere else. And those are the 5 steps from John Maxwell's book that I wanted to share with you guys. If you do that, that's what's going to make you successful. I took those steps and I took them very personally. And I want to highlight my buddy Michael Texera, who is also very close to director. He just hit senior rep. His wife hit 1-star, 2-star, 3-star rep in the same week. So I taught him to do this forward, and now he's training people all over the world. The guy just signed up people from Canada. So now we have a team in Canada, literally. And so we'll be traveling to Canada to go build this because it's worth it. It's worth it. Now the team's building, whether you're there or not. And that's the goal, to be completely insignificant to your own paycheck.
Yeah.
That's making money while you sleep.
101.
101.
Wow. You're absolutely right. John Maxwell has some great leadership books, and I believe he's got over 80 books now out there. So those are very powerful steps. Thank you for sharing those. And what is one vital thing that sharing with either the new person or sharing with somebody that's been around for a few years or somebody that's maybe even been around for, 5 or more years? What is one thing that you'd love to share with everybody?
All right. So the one thing that I think that, don't get me wrong, when I lost 100 people on my team, you haven't done network marketing, World Ventures until you want to quit. That's when it's really in you and you got the grind and you're in this for the long haul, okay? So I'll say that, but what kept me on fire, what kept me going, what kept me close to everything that was happening so I didn't distance myself so far where it was just an easy decision to quit, was training. It was United last year, and the trainers were saying such powerful words, and it really just touched me because I knew I was ready to retire. Maria had happened. I was trying to figure out how to fix that problem without having to stop building and go there and rebuild my mom's house by myself. It just took everything from me. I did the roof, I did the windows, I did the doors. I was there day and night making it happen so that my mom could have her place back. These incidents will cause you to not be able to build your team. And so with that said, I just want to tell everyone that's on the line that if you don't go to training, do not expect big things to happen in your binary and on your team. Training is what keeps you close to the fire. Training is what keeps you and your team powerful. One of my top mentors, Eric Grisbowski himself, told me the following. He said, you may have 1,000 people on your team. That's what he told me. But your team really is only as deep as the people who attend training. Those are the ones who are going to make you a millionaire. And I had to sleep on that for a week because it was hurtful because I had a big team at the time. Well, at least I thought I had a pretty large team. But I only had 10 to 15 people attending training. So I really only had a 10 to 15 person team. And so it was an eye-opener for me to know that training was that imperative. It was that important. The lifeline of your business revolves around how many people you as a leader can get to training. Boot camp is happening in Dallas, Texas, July 19. World Ventures rented out the Dallas Cowboys Training Center to do an event in. Listen, guys, I'll tell you this much. When your company actually rents out the Dallas Cowboy Training Center to do a training event for their company, you just might be in the right company, okay? So that's pretty fantastic. Invite your team, help them get there. Maybe in the beginning it might be hard. I know Melanie's done it. I've done it. We go all out for our teams. Do promotions. If hey, listen, whoever puts in 5 people, I'll pay for half of your ticket for boot camp. Or whoever puts in 10 people, I'll pay for your entire ticket to boot camp. Do promos like that within your own network, within your own team. Help your guys get there. I rented a van last regional training event. I had 12 people in the van. So I saved them gas. I saved them money because it's a tax write-off for me. So it's not even a big deal. And so you got to think like a leader. Think numbers and massive numbers. Don't think small. Life is going to pay you what you ask of it. So ask wisely.
Yeah, absolutely. Training is vital. It's kind of like, you graduate high school and then you look at the world and you're thinking, what do I do now? Most people go to the universities, they attend a college, like us, we go to the military, we get our education paid for, but there's always going to be another step. There's always going to be a bigger challenge. And the only way that you're going to get between A and B is going through the journey and getting through the obstacles and the struggles and, having each other to have each other's back. And I'll tell you, training is not mandatory, but it is if you want to create a significant income. We never seen anyone reach the highest levels in the company without going to the events. And not to mention, they're a lot of fun. You know, we have a great time. We come in early, we go explore the city, we go do excursions, we have dinners, we hang out, we have a couple of drinks, we have big after parties, and the events itself are like concerts, right? They're awesome. I've seen Javi throwing around his Puerto Rican flag. I have the American flag. People are just representing from all around the world in one place under one arena, learning how to create more financial wealth, more time freedom, how to be able to spend, you know, quality time and not have to worry about bills piling in because you've been able to create a residual income. So this, when you look at it as your tuition to go through an education program to achieve your diploma, your success certificate of financial wealth, it's all worth it. And people want to, you know, my mom the other day said, oh, did we win on the lottery ticket? That's gambling, right? Why don't you just invest within yourself, take that money, put it in yourself, get to the events, and we're going to teach you the fast track plan. It's not the 40-40-40 plan, 40 years of your life or 40% of your income for, 40 hours a week. No, this is the fast track. This is a few years. You know, I've been blessed and fortunate to be able to retire from the military like Javi in 7 years. I did it in 8. It's 6 years ago, and not have to worry about finances. Like, we choose to do this because we love it. We found our passion. And the best part about it is they're like family reunions. You know, we get to see each other and hang out 4 times a year at least, not to mention all the dream trips and vacations we take and then just visiting each other. So we really do truly become a family. And I want you to know, Javi, that, you know, you are family to me. You are a brother to me. And I have the utmost respect for you. And I look up to you at a high level of what you've accomplished and where you're going in life. And I truly applaud you. And I want you to know that I absolutely love you and thank you for everything that you've done.
Love you too, Mel. Thank you so much for having me on. It was great.
Yeah, for sure. And for those that are watching, thank you for watching on Facebook. Thank you for taking a look at the recording. We're going to push this out. And again, remember, get to boot camp, Frisco, Texas, July 19th through the 20th. And I'll tell you, life will never be the same. If you're not sure what it's about, go check it out, wveventreg.com. That's R-E-G, wveventreg.com. Check out for the Dallas, Frisco, Texas event. As you may see, boot camp in several different countries because we are a global organization. Our team alone is in 12 countries, and our company is in 40 different countries. So if you're not sure what's going on, you want to get more information, reach out to Javier Alejandro or myself, and we will definitely see you at our next big event in Frisco, Texas. Thanks, everyone. Happy Tuesday.